All right, he's here. So, without any further ado, I present to you the speedrunner of the year, Naloa.
Hello.
Hey!
Hello.
Hello.
Like a five-person, five-way interview thing here, then?
Yeah, I guess so.
Why not? I guess.
So now, you have recently celebrated your 8-year anniversary of streaming. That's a long time. You have anything to say about that journey?
Not really.
And there you have it.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming on.
So you won Speedrunner of the Year at the recent Fangame Awards, mostly because of your insane dedication to running Destination. What is it about that game that made you put so much time into it? What drew you to it as a speedrun?
What drew me originally was actually watching Subfusk_Moose do speedruns of it back in like 2013, 2014, because back in the day, Destination was still considered like, that was the insane game. Like, you don't speedrun Destination, you beat it, and then you think, man, that took me 100 hours, I'm good forever, I'm never doing that again. Like, it was that game, whereas nowadays people are like, oh, Destination, sure, give me 5 hours, I got a day, it's free, it's fine. But yeah, so like watching it done as a speedrun, done fast, so like the first time I saw him get Destination under 2 hours, it was really cool, and the final boss looked like a lot of fun, so I wanted to play the game genuinely anyway. So, but I didn't actually plan on speedrunning it anytime soon. I thought like maybe I'd do a couple of runs in a long time when I felt like it. But then Blue got his time of like a 102 at some point, and I knew that he was never going to come back and get a sub 1, and I really wanted someone to get a sub 1, and as is the way of those things, if you want someone to get something, then you probably have to be the person yourself.
Yeah. Well, you have gone a lot more than that sub 1 by now.
Yeah, I've got a bit further than that now.
It's very impressive to see you tuning into your daily destinations for so long. Very awesome when you finally got that, 52:19 it looks like. That's an incredible time.
Yeah, I finally beat Blue a second time, which is I'm probably one of the only people that can say that. There are a few people that can say they've beaten Blue before. Moose has obviously won, but like nobody can say they've really done it twice, because obviously there's not really many games you have the opportunity for that in.
Yeah, for sure. Do you plan on ever returning to the game?
Oh yeah, no, I'm upset with the run still. So it's not that I don't have a sub 50, because like I've had many really good like on pace runs, and all of them at best have been like a low 50. Like I could get a sub 50 if I tried, but that's going to be like 3 years of playing that straight, and my platforming is not consistent enough for whatever reason. However, what does upset me is that, like, while I got a 52:19, 2 minutes of that was lost on Len, so that's really annoying.
I can imagine. Well, do you have anything else you're going for? I saw you ran Crimson earlier. Is that your next target?
Yeah, Kale asked me to like do Crimson when I won Speedrunner of the Year. I clearly misunderstood what he was saying a bit. I was panicking a bit because my headphones decided to mute Discord, which did not help me. So I thought he was referring to Crimson Needle 2.5 coming out at some point, but I know the feeling well of wanting some run to be accomplished in a game and not being able to accomplish it yourself. So I figured, yeah, sure, I can retry the game again and see if I can beat Ian's time of 55.
Yeah, good luck with that. Do you think there's... You also are responsible for the Justice English translation and randomizer. Is there something about Carnival's games in particular that draws you in?
No, it's a fair question. I mean, I think a lot of people agree that like Crimson, Justice, Destination are the big three from Carnival. I'm not going to say I enjoy everything by him. I have played his early stuff. It's not stuff that holds up. It's very much of the era. It's very much Love Trap fan game. I just think like Crimson, Destination are just all really good games, in my opinion. Like Justice is obviously like, because I feel like Justice is a great adventure game. You really feel like you're in a world, as opposed to like in a fan game and playing through stages. So that's why I like them so much, I guess. They all have their own pros and cons.
A couple of runs ago, we saw your stage at the end of 7 Aspects. What kind of went into making that?
Oh boy! All right, this has got a story. So originally, Oz asked me in. I'd spoken about Six Elements a bit. We had a big back and forth, and I said like, "Oh yeah, sure, I can do a quiz," because there's a quiz stage in Six Elements by Poroniumu, which is like it has screenshots of I want to be the guy, and then little parts cut out, and you got to pick one of 4 images to figure out which one it is. So I made that. It had to be at the end because it was going to use other people's stuff, obviously, from screenshots from their stuff. I finished it in like 2 days. One day being trying to edit people's stages to make it black and white, which was somehow a nightmare. Do not look at the Game Maker project file I have. It is horrifying. But then I made that and thought, this is kind of short for an ending, and I'd already spoken with Oz about this. One of my biggest problems with both Six Elements and One for All is that while they're pretty cool games in their own right, their endings are weak. They are some weak-ass endings. Like, they're cool bosses, but they don't finish a game. You beat it and then think, oh, wait, that's it? That's the end? Okay. So, the quiz wasn't enough. I told Oz I'm gonna work on more, and I'd had this idea lying around for a while, which was gonna be like, oh yeah, I could like take my friends' stuff and mix and match their platforming with their bosses. Like, the idea I had in mind was like Oz's platform boss layout in like Chill Needle 2, but with like Ocean Princess Boss 1 or like Wolfie's Panda, that type of thing. And while trying to think of ways to actually finish off the game that weren't just like a 1-minute quiz, I realized I could use this idea really well. I'd already got the song in mind as well. So I started working on that, and 2 weeks later, after basically silence, I suddenly got a boss. And I'm very, very much appreciate him putting up with that one.
Yeah, well, it turned out incredibly well. It's a super memorable ending.
That's great.
Yeah, speaking of your game making, at the awards we saw a very cool new trailer from you. Anything we should expect from that?
Count to Z, I assume?
I was talking about the Save the Series one.
Okay, you're doing the Save the Series one. Yeah, I'm just trying to finish it off at the moment. I was hoping to have all the bugs sorted by February 29th and I could show off a little bit more. However, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth came out, and I watched a friend play a lot of that. So that and trying to help out with aspects of Tawny kind of put a bit of a dent in things. So I'm relatively close to the end of fixing like the majority of bugs, but obviously, as is the way with game making, who can tell how long the post game will get? There's a phrase I really like that I found years ago, which is the 90-90 rule when it comes to coding, which is the first 90% of your code will take 90% of the time, and the last 10% of your code will take the other 90% of the time.
Yeah, that's how it goes, I think.
Yeah, you never quite estimate how long things will take well.
You also mentioned your game with Wonderful. What should we expect from that?
I don't know how in depth I should go because the brunt of that is very much Wonderful's game. She asked for help in general like a year or so ago, and I made a bunch of bosses for it, and then she took a break from things in general for a while, got distracted by WoW, various things, and now she's come back to it. It's, as you could probably tell from the trailer, it's a very, very big game. It is going to be quite an adventure. There's a lot of, while there is a lot of, more standard platforming in it, there's a lot of, more unique experiences, I guess I should say. I don't know if I'd say, I don't mean unique by, the grand scheme of, what Fangames have created by now, because obviously we have gone off the walls in so many ways, but, it's a wonderful experience, you know? Nobody else can quite make like her.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to that, as well as your game. Well, that's all I have. You're a speedrunner of the year. We have a lot of aspiring speedrunners in this tournament. Do you have any advice for them?
It's really hard to start off with speedrunning, I think, and the first thing you've got to care about is or think about is don't care about how good your first few runs are. Your first run specifically is going to be bad. Your second run will feel fantastic because you'll be getting like half-hour goals all over the place, and then your third run will probably feel not great because you're having trouble suddenly. And it's fine to take a bit of a break and come back with like a fresh mindset, but like you will have to practice things a little bit in an actual run as well as not in runs, and you can't take it too seriously when you lose time. That will happen, and you'll probably make it up in a future stage anyway, especially when you're starting off.
Well, great advice. So thanks for coming out. It was good to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, that's that. Our next match is Eva versus Mir. I will give them a ping and see when they're going to be ready.